welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and we've got some breaking news. I was literally about to head into the office today, and I saw the news come in. Jalen Pitre has been extended, a 3-year contract worth $39 million. $29.156 million guaranteed, and according to Tom Pelissero, that makes Jalen Pitre the highest paid nickel corner / safety in the entire National Football League. So I want you to go down in the comments section, go down and spam those five. I'm not going to have you grade the contract. I'm not going to have you anything. Pitre said he wanted to be in Houston. He said he wanted to be a Texan long term, and regardless of the injuries, regardless of everything, he's put his heart and soul into this team, and I absolutely love what Pitre brings, not only on the field, but off the field as a leader. I mean, he's all this offseason been doing a bunch of charity work around the Houston area, and he's focused on that swarm mentality, getting into the building, getting better each and every day, and helping his teammates for the final goal of winning football games. So go down and spam those fives. I'm absolutely pumped to have Jalen Pitre back for the long term here with the Houston Texans. Now, let's get into what does this mean for the Texans moving forward. Now, 3-year contract, which is important because it's kind of the same length that they gave Derek Stingley, right? They gave him a 3-year extension on top of his deal. So now the starting secondary is going to be locked up for the next couple years, right? You're good to go. You have Calen Bullock, you have CJ Gardner-Johnson, and then you have Stingley, Lassiter, and Pitre. This secondary is stacked, and this just tells me one thing as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft. The Houston Texans will be drafting mainly on the offensive side of the football in this draft. Now, they've met with a lot of defensive tackles. I think they're going to draft a DT somewhere in the first 4 rounds if you had to ask me. But at the end of the day, they need offensive linemen and they need offensive weapons. Those two positions, wide receiver, maybe tight end as well, and offensive line should be on the forefront of this front office's mind heading into the 2025 NFL draft. The defense, it's already set. Like, honestly, we don't need to add a ton more pieces to this defense. The depth behind Stingley and Lassiter concerns me a little bit. Linebacker, I like the additions that we have. You know, EJ Speed I thought was a really good free agent signing. You have Azeez Al-Shire, Henry To'o, and Christian Harris on the last year of his deal. And the D-line's kind of set too, right? Like, you could use another defensive tackle, but defensive end, you're set. You re-signed Derek Barnett to be a backup. You signed Darrell Taylor to be a backup as well behind Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. Your defensive tackle room is pretty good too. You have Demeco Ryans. Tim Settle played pretty well last year. That's where you can kind of maybe add a little bit more depth is in that defensive tackle room, because I don't know if Kurt Hinish is the depth that you really want in the defensive line room, but I think this defense is set to be, once again, one of the top units in the entire National Football League. I really do believe that they can be a top 5 unit. Now, I'm going to break down more around Pitre and what to expect from Pitre moving forward and why I think he can actually ascend to the next level in this Demeco Ryans defense here in just a moment. But I couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our amazing sponsors over at GameTime. Get started today. My place to get last second tickets, and actually it's the official ticketing partner of Texans Today and Chat Sports. So go check them out today with GameTime. You can get deals on tickets all the way up to the start of the event, and you can see your seat view in the actual app. You can also turn in all-in pricing, so there's no hidden fees. You don't have to go to checkout and there's a random $50 charge and a random $20 charge. All-in prices show you exactly what you're going to pay at checkout whenever you are looking at the tickets in the app. My other favorite feature that they have, the GameTime picks, that basically filters out all the fluff and it shows you the best bang for your buck for whatever event you're trying to go to. So go down and download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, go down in the comment section. That link is going to be in there. Download GameTime. Use code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Go get started with our friends over at GameTime. What time is it? It's game time. Now, Jalen Pitre, whenever I look at him and look at his progression in the NFL, like he's he was really good his rookie year. A little bit of a sophomore slump last year. But then once he was implanted into this kind of nickel star role, because the Texans love running a 4-2-5 defense. That means 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. Whenever they're in that formation on defense, Pitre's able to ball out. And the year prior, right, in 2023-2024 season, they were mainly trying to use him as a deep safety, and that's not Pitre's game. That's not where he can flourish. He's much better whenever he can play closer to the line of scrimmage, whenever he can press man, whenever he can help out in the run game and possibly be a quarterback spy or, guard tight ends or running backs out of the backfield. That's where Jalen Pitre is at his best because he is a physical player. He's a physical defender. I know he's not tall, right? He's 5'10", 5'11", but he still brings the boom. I mean, whenever we look at his highlights from this past year, whenever we look at the biggest plays from Jalen Pitre, a lot of them is him absolutely laying the hammer like a, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis in the middle of the field. That's where he's playing his best, is whenever he is extremely physical, and that's what Demeco Ryans loves. He needs more guys like that who are absolutely just like glass eaters, gonna run through a brick wall. Kamari Lassiter is like that. Now you have Jalen Pitre, who is like that. And then CJ Gardner-Johnson, somewhat like that, and then you have 2 guys who are absolute ball hawks, who are demons on the back end, and Derek Stingley and Calen Bullock. And having this defensive line set up the way they are and how good they are, it's going to help the secondary look much better. And I think Jalen Pitre, the fact that he is from Texas and wanting to stay in Houston and really wanting to build on this culture, and I think Demeco Ryans wants guys who believe in the culture, who believe in that swarm mentality, that relentless mindset. Those guys who, no matter what, they're coming in the building early, they're staying late, and they're trying to get better each and every single day. And I think that personifies exactly what Jalen Pitre is for this team. He's somebody who is, tirelessly putting in the work, somebody who I think Texans fans absolutely love. And I'm glad this front office, this team, rather than going out and spending, bukus of money out in free agency, which they've made some decent free agent signings, some free agent moves. I think they're playing more smart, and they're trying to lock up their own guys and maintain the culture that this team has. And with re-signing guys like a Derek Stingley and like a Jalen Pitre, that's what you're doing, because you listen to what these guys say. They're like, not everybody can be a Texan. It's a different mentality down here. We want to work. If you're afraid of work, don't come down here. That's straight from guys like Derek Stingley, Will Anderson Jr., Jalen Pitre. Those guys are ready to work, and they're ready to take this team to the next level, and that's exactly what the Texans need. So I'm perfectly fine with the Texans extending Jalen Pitre on a 3-year deal. Technically, basically right, like a 4-year deal, because he had 1 year left on his deal, so you kind of tack this on to the end of that. So really, it turns out to be a 4-year deal. I would say, $39 million, so 4 years. I think he only had a couple million guaranteed, so it really turns into more of a 4-year, like $42-43 million deal. And whenever you look at it like that, it's actually a really good value for the Houston Texans, locking up a secondary piece for the future. That's all I have for you on today's show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Reminder, if you made it to the end of the video, I know you're a real one. Reminder, next Wednesday, I'll be doing a pre-draft live show with my man Aaron Wilson, breaking down all the stuff around the Houston Texans, the 2025 NFL Draft. So make sure you tap in. Make sure you're locked in. Have your notifications turned on. Make sure you're subscribed. And make sure you're all good to go. As always, let's go Texans. Everybody have a great Friday. I'll catch y'all later on throughout the weekend with more of my videos. Everybody be safe out there, and let's go Texans.